Hi everyone. To, in this video, we are going to discuss about the ISI security architecture. So, what is security? Well, security is an important aspect in this information age. Every information must be secured while we are sending and receiving it. So, to be secured, the information needs to be hidden from unauthorized access and protected from unauthorized change and available to an authorized entity when it is needed. So, this protection from unauthorized access is known as confidentiality. Protection from unauthorized change is known as integrity. And making it available to an authorized entity is known as availability. So, a few decades ago, the information collected by an organization was stored on physical files. So, the confidentiality of the files was achieved by restricting the access to a few authorized and trusted people. In the same way, only a few authorized people were allowed to change the contents of the files, and the availability was achieved by designating at least one person who would have access to the files at all times. But with the advent of computers, information storage became electronic, and achieving all these security goals like confidentiality, integrity, and availability became more crucial and challenging. So, when we want to achieve all these goals, we have to follow some guidelines. So, every organization must follow a standard known as ITUT X800 OSI security architecture. This OSI security architecture focuses on three major things, which are security attack, security mechanism, and security service. What is security attack? Security attack is what happens that compromises the security of a computer system or an organization is known as security attack. There are different types of security attacks: passive attack and active attack. Passive attack, in passive attack, the attacker needs to know what is transmitting. He just read that or he just want to obtain that information. But in active attack, there will be a change in what is sending and receiving. So there are different types of passive attacks: release of message contents and traffic analysis. What is release of message contents? In this release of message contents, say Bob is sending a message to Alice. On that, in between that transmission, that is trying to read the contents from Bob's message. That is known as the release of message contents. And the next is traffic analysis. Traffic analysis means analyzing the informations transmitting from Bob to Alice, that is from the sender to receiver. What information is transmitting from the sender to receiver, that is analyzing by the attacker. So based on the traffic of that transmission, he get into a conclusion that what is sending and what is receiving. That is known as traffic analysis. There are different types of active attacks also: masquerade, replay, modification of messages, and denial of service. Masquerade means the attacker is pretended to be the sender, and for example, if Bob is sending a message to Alice, Bob want to Bob wants to send a message to Alice, and Alice receiving some message, and Alice thought that this message is sent by Bob, but actually Darth is pretended to be Bob and sending message to Alice. That is known as masquerade. And next is the replay attack. Replay attack means when Bob sent a message to Alice, that is replayed by Darth, and Alice get into a confusion that which message is original or which message is authentic. So that is replay attack. And next is the modification of messages. Modification of messages, as the name implies, When Bob sent a message to Alice, meanwhile Darth in trying to change that message and send it to Alice. That is known as the modification of messages. And the denial of service means it prevents or inhibits the normal use of management of communication facilities. For example, an entity may suppress all the messages directed to a particular destination. So these are the attacks. And what is service? Service is related to security calls and attacks. There are different services which are authentication, access control, data confidentiality, data integrity, non repudiation, and availability. And authentication means the service provides the authentication of the party at other end of the line. In connection oriented communication, it provides authentication of the sender or receiver during the connection establishment. In connectionless communication, it authenticates the source of the data, that is data origin authentication. And next is the access control. Access control provides protection against unauthorized access to data. And what is data confidentiality means it is designed to protect data from disclosure attack. And data integrity is designed to protect data from modification, insertion, deletion, and replaying by an adversary. And non-repudiation means this service protects against the repudiation by either the sender or the receiver of the data. In non-repudiation with proof of the origin, the receiver of the data can later prove the identity of the sender if denied. And the availability means making the data available to authorized people only. So these are the security services. Now we have the security mechanisms. We will discuss about the security mechanism now. There are two types of security mechanisms, and this security mechanism is to provide the security services defined in the previous section. So there are different types of security mechanisms: specific security mechanism and pervasive security mechanism. Specific security mechanisms includes encipherment, digital signature, access control, data integrity, authentication exchange, traffic padding, routing control, and authorization. So what is encipherment? Encipherment or encryption means masking a message sending from the sender to receiver. That is known as the encipherment or encryption. We are using a lot of algorithms for that. And this digital signature is used to assure the authenticity of the sender. So the signature of the sender is appended to the data which is sent to the receiver. Okay. Next, the access control is the variety of mechanisms that enforce the access rights to resources. In data integrity mechanism is the mechanism that is used to implement the data integrity. And the authentication exchange means it is a mechanism that is intended to ensure the identity of an entity by means of information exchange. And in traffic padding, some bogus value is inserted into the data traffic to thwart the adversary's attempt to use the traffic analysis. And routing control means selecting and continuously changing different available routes between the sender and receiver. And at last, notarization. This means selecting a third trusted party to control the communication between two entities. Next comes the pervasive security mechanisms. It includes trusted functionality, security label, event detection, security audit, trail, and security recovery. Trusted functionality means it's to correct with the respect to some criteria, that is, which is perceived to be correct with respect to some criteria. And the security label includes the marking bound to a resource. Event detection includes the detection of security relevant events, and the security audit trail, we are doing data collection and potentially used to felicitate the security audit. Security recovery includes the request from mechanisms such as event handling and management functions. Thank you.